Hello and welcome to the Crowley ISD PLC Curriculum Preview. I am Haley Veron, the Elementary Math Coordinator.
And I am Megan Dixon, the Secondary Math Coordinator. We look forward to working with teachers and instructional leaders throughout the school year.
Please feel free to communicate with us any questions or for additional support.
Thank you and enjoy the video. In this video, we will identify curriculum hotspots and provide real-time instructional strategies that will include the math bow tie method, at the board, and incorporate Fundamental 5 strategies. At the end of this video, teachers will complete the PLC for the Math PLC for Readiness Standard 5.3K. The we will, I will statements shown are examples of how to frame a lesson as listed in the Fundamental 5.
Unit 1 Extending Whole Numbers Operations and Unit 2 Algebraic Reasoning are taught during the first 6 weeks. Please pause for a moment to review the Unit 1 Local Assessment Blueprint. As you can see, 10 instructional days will be utilized for Unit 1. The district has allowed for 3 days at the beginning of the 6 weeks to allow for beginning of the year procedures. August 28th through September 11th are instructional days for Unit 1. The Unit 1 local assessment will be available for printing purposes on September 10th, and the unit should be assessed on September 12th. Per the local assessment guidelines, teachers are to administer unit assessments within 3 school days upon completion of the unit. Now pause for a moment to review the Unit 2 local assessment blueprint. 12 instructional days will be utilized for Unit 2. September 15th through September 30th are instructional days for Unit 2. The Unit 2 local assessment will be available for printing purposes on September 29th, and the unit should be assessed on October 1st. Please keep in mind that teachers are to administer unit assessments within 3 school days upon completion of the unit. For today's PLC purpose, materials teachers will need are the Unit 1 IFD, organizing instruction using the TEKS standard type document, PLC for the Math PLC document, and green, yellow, and blue highlighters.
At this time, we will be using organizing instruction using the TEKS standard types document. For the purpose of today's PLC curriculum preview, we will be using the Unit 1 IFD titled Extending Whole Number Operations. At this time, please read the TEKS listed on pages 12 through 18 of the IFD. As you review the TEKS, highlight in yellow the supporting standards and highlight the readiness standards in green. All remaining standards are process standards and will be highlighted in blue. If necessary, please refer to the organizing instruction using TEKS standard types document to review the description and each role as the standards play in learning. Take note that blue process standards will fall into one of 2 basic categories: how students access learning or how students demonstrate learning. Please take a moment to complete this task. Now, use the highlighted IFD as a key to place each standard in the corresponding color-coded graphic organizer. Please pause the video and complete that task now. Please take a moment to review the placement of each TEK. Notice for this unit there is only one readiness standard, which is 5.3K. In the 5th grade, the process standards are dual-coded in approximately 89% of the STAR assessed items. This diagram helps illustrate that when planning for instruction, it is vital that concepts be taught in connection with process standards. Students use the mathematical processes to acquire and demonstrate mathematical understanding. The tools to know process standards act as a stimulus for students by providing strategies and structures students use to access learning. Some mathematical examples include the use of manipulatives, number lines, and base 10 blocks. The ways to show process standards provide an opportunity for students to demonstrate, understand, communicate, and apply the learning.
For the first 6 weeks, the curriculum preview will target 5.3K. Based on the heat map displayed, please pause and discuss. What does the data tell us about 5.3K? Based on your knowledge from previous or current observations, what are your predictions of student mastery for the TEKS referenced during the 2014-2015 school year? Now, let's focus specifically on the hotspot. As you can see, this is a readiness standard. This standard is part of Category 2, Computations and Algebraic Relationships, which makes up 48% of the STAR Blueprint assessment. The words positive rational have been struck out because in Unit 1, the emphasis is to add and subtract numbers fluently. Please take a moment to pause the video to look on page 18 of the Unit 1 IFD and review the standard and unit level specificity. At this time, we will pause for small group purposeful talk to discuss seed questions, both of which are attributes of the Fundamental 5. During this time, focus specifically on the previously identified hotspot. The questions for discussion are: what concepts did students learn in the previous grade to prepare them? This can be found in the Unit 1 overview of the IFD. Also, in the unit overview, look at how the student will use that concept in subsequent grades. Will the way you teach it help prepare students for future learning? In the Underdeveloped Concepts and Misconceptions section of the IFD, what underdeveloped concept plays a role in student success of the targeted skill? Also, what common misconceptions deter students from being successful? From the listed vocabulary, which terminology will play a key role to ensure mastery? And last, how have you taught this content in the past? How will you teach it differently this year? Please keep in mind that small group purposeful talk about the learning typically lasts between 30 seconds and 3 minutes per question. Please pause the video at this time to allow for discussion.
Using the PLC for the Math PLC page as a tool for creating lessons, classroom instruction will move to a higher level of understanding as well as offer opportunities for students to transfer new information. Now that the Readiness Standard 5.3K has been targeted and the content of the standard has been developed, time will be spent on the instructional process. Please pause the video now to discuss what stimulus could be used to address 5.3K. For today's purpose, we have selected word problem. Next, discuss 2 to 5 thinking opportunities for students to demonstrate their thinking. This will occur every 8 to 10 minutes during the whole group instruction. Take time now to discuss this with your group. As an example, we have selected 3 thinking strategies: justify the solution, work a simpler problem, and communicate. From the instructional strategies column, we will demonstrate the math bow tie instructional strategy as well as at the board, both of which are examples of cooperative learning structure. This is not an exhaustive list of instructional strategies. Please feel free to choose other high-yield instructional strategies. The next slides will provide videos demonstrating the bow tie method and at the board.
Here's a video to illustrate the math bow tie method. Working in pairs, students situate their desks so that they are facing each other. On chart paper, each pair draws the outline of a bow tie. Teachers can also prepare this in advance and laminate it for future use. The teacher then assigns a word problem for the students to solve. Each student will first work alone on his or her side of the bow tie. After this practice, partners discuss their work. How did you get the answer to the problem? And reach a consensus on their answers, teaching each other along the way.
How'd you do that?
I subtracted straight down.
Did you borrow because of the 4?
Oh, no, I forgot about that. Thank you.
In the center of the bow tie, students write their consensus answer. Another cooperative learning strategy, very similar to the bow tie method, is called At the Board. This short clip will demonstrate this strategy in action inside a Crowley ISD classroom.
Another student-led technique I like to use is called At the Board. I have half the students go up to the board and work their problems. The other half stays at their desk and works on the slates. After they complete their problems, they pair up and discuss their problem-solving techniques and reasoning. This enhances vocabulary and mathematical computation.
So you see anything left over here is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? What do you have? What number do you have? And it's a what?
Benefits of the cooperative learning structures are that after these instructional strategies have been implemented during the whole group instruction time, they can be used as a center activity. This is when students can also begin to compete against each other to build fluency in their computation. These strategies enable teachers to move into facilitative, feedback-giving role and rove around the room as needed. Standing just about anywhere, teachers can easily hear students' conversations and see their thinking evolve. After working in this format, students are likely to be better prepared to advance to independent work. These methods incorporate working in the power zone, small group purposeful talk about the learning, and opportunities to recognize and reinforce effort from the Fundamental 5.
Now let's look at the evidence of learning column. Discuss and select what product can be used to show evidence of student learning. How will we know when students have mastered their concept? Take time now to discuss also how students will demonstrate their thinking. An integral part of the PLC process is how to plan for intervention. Take time now to discuss the following questions and what they may look like on your campus. How will we provide students with additional time and support in a timely, directive, and systematic way when students experience difficulty? How can we enrich the learning of students who are already proficient?
We appreciate you participating in the PLC Curriculum Preview. When you plan on implementing the bow tie instructional strategy or At the Board, please invite us in as we would love to see classroom implementation. If you have suggestions for future curriculum previews, please submit ideas to haley.veron@crowley.k12.tx.us. Also, I would like to hear from you if you have an instructional strategy that you would like to showcase in an upcoming video. Finally, please be sure to submit a copy of the PLC for the Math PLC document and organizing instruction using the TEKS standard types to the appropriate campus designee. Thank you for your time, and we appreciate you working together as a team to ensure student success.